Apex is a web application for managing the OS 2200 operating system. We'll briefly touch on each of the topics listed here. For more depth, you can view other presentations in this technical update series on Apex. Apex consolidates administrative tasks that have traditionally been performed using various Unisys-provided and user-developed utilities and processes. The ultimate goal of Apex is to enhance the administration of the OS 2200 system to the point that a less experienced user can effectively manage the system. This will let data centers reduce costs by using shared resources for administrative tasks across the heterogeneous data center. Intuitive user interfaces, improved terminology, careful human engineering of the outputs, and clear documentation in a secure architecture. These are all factors in addressing the goal of making both experienced and new administrators more productive. Input from clients and experienced OS 2200 field engineers showed that the highest priority was to address security administration. The long-term vision of Apex is to expand to encompass all OS 2200 security administration, software administration, database administration, and other areas. The goal is to free the administrator from the low-level interfaces that are now required for OS 2200 system administration. Apex simplifies the administrator's interaction with the system for configuring and monitoring security and configuring the operating system. Apex 2.0 complements the features of TeamQuest Simon and the Unisys Security Administration product, but it doesn't replace them. Web pages for managing access control records, user ID groups, and clearance levels complement the account and user management pages introduced in Apex 1.0. Apex reports, enhanced in Level 2.0, provide additional information beyond the reports in Simon and Security Administration. Apex now displays the software installed on the system, including the product name, level, date installed, and other details. Another new feature lets the administrator easily update the message of the day, that message that gets displayed when somebody logs on to the system. The configuration features carried forward from Apex 1.0 include configuring the security environment and the Apex agent. The exec configuration web interface in Apex is a user-friendly alternative to Comus Configure or the config command line processor. Configured password profiles in Apex and user authentication includes the capabilities of enhanced security profiles, a service offered through the Unisys Customer Support Organization. These are just the highlights. There are many additional features that include enhancements based on user feedback on Apex 1.0. Here's what's not in Apex 2.0, but is in the Security Administration product. We have a goal of including these in the follow-on Apex release. Note that Apex 2.0 does let you grant interfaces and privileges to users, but it does not let you add new ones to the system, change their enforcement or clearance level, or display their details. Apex includes two major components, an agent that is installed on the Dorado server and a web application that is installed on a Windows server. The web server platform communicates with the OS 2200 agent using WebSockets protocol that can be secured with TLS. Apex is accessed from a client's workstation through a secure link to the web server. Basing the user interface on browser technology eliminates the need for the customer to install any client software. This makes any device that can access the web server a potential system management workstation. The Apex Web Service requires Windows 2008 Service Pack 2 or later. Installing the web service automatically installs the required .NET Framework full version if the server has access to the Internet. The server also needs IIS 7 or later installed as a web server with ASP.NET enabled. On the OS 2200 host, Apex depends on the software listed here, which is included in all integrated operating environments. Apex has been tested with a variety of web browsers and is officially supported on Internet Explorer 9, 10, and 11. If you use Internet Explorer 10 or 11, enable the compatibility view for the best results. In general, the user starts a browser and specifies the URL to the Apex web service. After submitting credentials for the targeted Dorado system, the user sees a menu of choices and performs tasks based on his own user ID's OS 2200 authorization. Apex uses drop-down menus, on-screen guidance, tabbed interfaces, and other modern user interface techniques to help the user carry out administrative tasks. We'll talk more about the web application in the technical update segment about the Apex GUI. Apex reports based on system log data and user ID records help the security officer find events of special security significance, supporting a defense in-depth strategy. Apex includes a set of reports not available in Simon and Security Administration. They include reporting login failures. Dormant users include those who haven't logged on in a certain number of days. This report helps an administrator comply with regulations and industry standards. For example, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, the PCI DSS, says, remove or disable inactive user accounts at least every 90 days. Modified users are those whose security attributes have changed. Security administrators also like to keep track of new user IDs added to the system. The new users report lets them know who was added, when, and by whom. The passwords report includes users whose passwords have expired or are about to expire. PCI DSS requires changing passwords at least every 90 days. HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, requires them to be changed every 60 days. This report helps the administrator establish and verify compliance. The Privilege Escalations report shows users who assign $sys$*DLOC$. Apex also includes informational reports of user and account summaries, user groups, and access control records. This is an example of a report. In the technical update segment on reports, we'll talk about generating and interpreting the new reports. But with this slide, I'd like to call your attention to a few features of Apex reports. Apex makes reports display automatically to the administrator rather than having to be fetched as you do with Security Client today. Unlike static reports from Security Administration or Simon, you can sort the Apex report results by clicking column headings. So, for example, you could sort this report by ascending or descending date and time. Furthermore, options on the report display let the administrator take common actions directly from the display of the affected user's data. On this screen, you can see the options to immediately disable the user ID or to exclude it from the report. Configured Password Profiles offers TIP, demand, and BIS environments a way of enforcing password rules that go beyond the rules the exec enforces. For example, you could require each password to have at least a number and a letter and be different from the previous 4 passwords. Apex provides the configuration GUI. The rule enforcement is done by Authentication Module 19 in the User Authentication product. The technical update segment on configured password profiles includes a lot more detail. Apex documentation has 2 main parts. The Getting Started guide is in PDF format, and the integrated context-sensitive help is also provided in PDF format. Installing Apex installs the PDF documents and the context-sensitive help along with a README file. The PDFs are also available on the Unisys support site. Thank you.